Hi guys, Leo with One Happy Widow here. Thanks for coming back and checking out our channel. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that. Hit the subscribe button below and hit that bell so that you won't miss any future videos. If you've already subscribed, we want to go ahead and thank you. We have grown tremendously in the last couple weeks. We had our 1,000 sub party last week that you probably saw the celebration for, and we are already knocking on the door of 5,000 subscribers. So we had one of our videos to go not really viral, but skyrocketed, and so it kind of really helped bring some awareness to our channel. So we're really excited about that. So this week what we're doing is we're doing a Q&A. With our last video being so popular, we got over 100,000 views on it, and we had a lot of conversation. We had a lot of comments, and most of the comments that we had were really supportive, you know, giving us shout outs and telling us how much they enjoy the channel and how much help that they've got. And, you know, we had a couple of trolls and scammers and whatever you call them, haters and things like that. So, but we did have several questions that kept coming up over and over again. So we wanted to kind of address some of those questions for you so that we could just answer them in one place. And then next time somebody asks one of those questions, we can just send them to this video and they can watch it. And so this week is going to be the Q&A, burning questions. We're going to cover 5 or 6 questions that we kept seeing over and over again in the comments. But first, I want to go ahead and, like I said, I want to thank you guys for subscribing, for watching the videos, for spreading the word, and to coming back and checking us out and seeing, you know, what we're all about. We don't have success without you guys. This is all for you and all for our viewers, and so we're here to help you. The more that you help us and support us, the more that it enables me to be able to find good resources or create good resources to help you guys. Speaking of merch, so the shirt for this week is Be Kind to Yourself. And that's something that I commonly say to people, you know, just really be kind to yourself, because we tend to beat ourselves up and feel like that we deserve, you know, to be unhappy because we've lost our spouse. And really that's not the case. So we need to kind of learn to be kind to ourselves and to love ourselves so that we can begin to find happiness and joy in our lives again. I want to start off with where this channel is headed. When I first started this channel, I had been on some Facebook groups, and I had been widowed for a while. And so I started to get this trend, like when I was on the Facebook groups, I kept seeing new people come in and new people come in, and my husband just died, my wife just died, my husband just died. I just found this channel, kind of like people who are fresh in the grieving process. And over time, I would start to see them and think, oh gosh, I know what they're in for, and I know where they are, and I'm so glad I'm not in that phase of grief anymore that they are. And I started to wonder if my place was in those groups anymore. And then like a voice spoke to me and said, you're not here to get help anymore. You're here to give help to those new people that are coming in. And I guess I became one of those veteran group members, and I found myself answering the same questions over and over again, giving the same comments, and not really advice as much as just sharing my experiences. And when you share your experiences and someone else can relate to it, then they really feel like, okay, I'm not alone in this. I'm not crazy. I'm not weird. You know, this is normal. And so I felt like that maybe my place somewhere out there would be to help people who were in that position. And then there was a couple of groups that I went on to that it seemed like the whole atmosphere of the whole group was like a giant pity party, you know. And I'm not trying to take away anybody's pain and anybody's grief. I realize that we have been hit with a huge loss. But when you go into a group and everyone in the group, it's almost like a competition to see who's got it the worst, or who's the most sad, or who can be the biggest martyr. And when you try to put a positive spin on something and try to lift someone up, you kind of get attacked. And it's almost like, well, how dare you try to make me feel better, because, you know, we're here to support each other in our pain, and if you can't understand it, then you're not in the right place. And so I kind of felt like this is not the atmosphere that I want to really be in. And so I decided to make my own group on Facebook that was basically geared towards trying to go forward and go into a positive direction, because that's where we all need to be heading. We don't need to be stuck in this pit of grief all the time, but not everybody's ready to do that. And so I figured that it would be people that were in my place, had been widowed for a while, and really wanted to kind of start living again and start finding happiness and joy and those kind of things. And so I felt like that my channel, when I first started it, would be for people in my position who had been widowed for a while, tired of crying every day, tired of being sad, and really kind of ready to make moves forward in their life. And then I realized there was a lot more people out there watching my videos, not just people who are ready to be happy, but a lot of fresh widows, people who had lost their spouses within the last few months, the last few weeks, the last few days, and they had no idea what to do, where to go. They're searching on YouTube for anything that might help them because they don't know what to do. They are lost. And so I realized that a lot of my videos were speaking to those people, and so I knew that my focus on some of these videos needed to be for fresh widows. Like, this is, you know, this is what I went through. This is what I have heard other people going through in the very beginning, and this might be what you can expect to go through, you know, in the beginning also. So I knew that my focus needed to be more broad into just anybody who has been widowed. Then I realized it wasn't just widowed people, it was non-married people, people who had been in domestic partnerships, people who had been engaged, people who were boyfriend, girlfriend, but they'd still lost their partner or the parent of their children. And then I even had a smaller group of people who had lost an ex-spouse and were really struggling with that complicated grief, because people that knew them were thinking, well, why are you crying about him? He was your ex-husband. Didn't you divorce him? Why are you so sad about it? And so they, you know, they've struggled with those kinds of things, which I haven't been through that, but, you know, we can at least address those issues. So anyway, I want to cover, you know, a lot more of those issues for not just people who are ready to be happy, but people who don't really know what's going on in their life, and try to hopefully help them, you know, sort of focus on a few things and then try to get everything in order and start putting one foot in front of the other. And then we can work on helping them find happiness. But just know that if you're here and if you come to our groups and if you hang out in our comments, we're going to empathize with you, and we're going to pat you on the back, and we're going to pray for you, and we're going to send you virtual hugs and things like that. But we're also going to encourage you to get up and get happy, to get up and find joy, to get up and find purpose in your life. If you're not ready for somebody to encourage you to do that, then you might have to wait, you know, before you start coming around, because we're all going to hover around you and we're going to try to lift you up. Okay, because that's really what the purpose of all of this stuff is to me, is to help people to get through the grieving process instead of getting stuck in a rut and then feeling like their life has no purpose. All right, so if you're ready for that, then let's go. Okay, a couple of other things that I forgot to mention was that we've also had some people that have not lost a partner, but they've lost a parent, or they had a friend who's lost a partner or a husband or a wife, and they came on here to try to find out how to help that person they care about. So we've had several children who've had, maybe adult children, who have older parents who've lost one of their parents, and they're trying to find out what the other parent is going through so they can support them. My sister is a big fan. She's a big member of the WIDFAM, and she helps out a lot with this channel, and she said that watching my videos has kind of given her a different perspective of what I've gone through too, because we haven't really talked a whole lot about, you know, what's going on with me inside my head, inside my heart, things like that. So we've also have a group of people who haven't lost their significant other, but they have a friend or family member close to them that they really want to support, and that this kind of helps them understand what they're going through. So hopefully we can address some of those things too and help people in the future to support their grieving loved ones. Also, there's all kinds of different grief, even from losing your spouse or your partner, and it all kind of depends on what kind of relationship you had to begin with and what kind of death that they experienced. So some people like me experienced anticipatory grief, which means you already knew they were going to die, and so you started the grieving process even before they passed away. Some people are dealing with complicated grief, and we'll do a video on that, and that's basically where you're kind of stuck in the grieving process and you can't really get past that next phase or stage that you're in. And then different types of deaths cause different types of grief, and of course we're all different types of people. So people have lost their spouses to terminal illness, to accidents, to sudden health crisis, to COVID, to murder, suicide, drug overdose, car accidents. I mean, there's been so many different types of deaths that we've heard about, and none any more tragic than the other, but it does, depending on the type of death and how sudden it was, how expected or unexpected it was, will kind of lay out the process of your grief, especially in the beginning. You know, in the end, I think it all kind of plays out very similarly, but in the beginning, it could look a lot different depending on how your spouse ended up passing away. So here's the plan, and then we'll get to the questions. I know you're waiting on the questions. And also, if you stay to the very end, I'm going to hit the most pressing question that everybody wants to know all about. All right, so the first plan is that we're going to keep making videos. We have a long list of topics for videos, and now that we've gotten some feedback from you guys, we have some even more ideas for other videos. We do a video once a week. I try to schedule them to post at Monday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern time. So that's basically when my videos are going to be dropping at this point. If you have a request for a certain topic, or you want me to talk about something specific, go ahead and contact me and we'll put it on the list and we'll see what we can do. Also, I want to create some resources for the WIDFAM. I'm already working on a course. I'm hoping to be able to release that this summer. And then I've got some other resources that I'm creating for folks, and I'll talk more about those as we get closer to releasing those. I also want to find some resources that will help our WIDFAM. So I'm looking into some online therapy options, you know, to kind of send you to, but I'm not sending you anywhere until I have vetted the company and checked it out and done my research. And I'm not going to suggest or request that you go anywhere, buy anything, or do anything that I can't stand behind, because it's not about me, you know, trying to benefit from you. It's about you trying to benefit from, you know, the things that I found for you, so you don't have to do all the work. Also, we want to inject humor into the grief process. So, you know, we cut up, we make jokes, we try to make some funny skits, some here and there. My sister and I, we laugh a lot about stuff. So the next few videos, you may see a couple of spoofs and a couple of little funny skits. So, you know, hopefully that'll bring a smile to your face, at least for a few minutes. We also are planning on this summer to do some live chats so that we can kind of get together and hang with each other for a little while and talk back and forth in, you know, in real time. And then we're also looking into, I know we're going to be doing a book club, so that's going to start next month, and I'll make another video and kind of introduce that. We're going to do a WIDFAM Widows Book Club that doesn't have to be widows that are involved. If you have any ideas about that, you know, throw them our way. But we got a lot of stuff in the works, you know, that we're thinking about. So now, what you're really here for, the meat and potatoes, right? Now for the Q&A. So the first one that I wanted to address is we've had some trolls in our comments, because we had like over 1,000 comments on one of our videos. And when you see the same guy that says, "Hello Mary, hello Paula, hello Eileen, hello Fiona, hello," you know, all the different names, and it's the same guy, and he's saying the same thing, and he starts saying, "What do you do for your, you know, what do you do for your free time," or whatever. We are on the prowl for those people, because we don't want people to be afraid to comment, because they feel like that they're going to be attacked, or they're going to be approached by someone. So just know that we're always on the lookout for that. My sister Stormy, she's really good about staying on top of it, and if she sees one, she alerts me. Also, if you see one, go ahead and report them and block them, and let me know so I can go in and get rid of them. But I think I've blocked about 4 or 5 different trolls that have come in and tried to just, you know, the comment section is not a dating site for widows, okay? There's apps for that, there's Facebook groups for that, so it's not really, you know, we don't want to put ourselves out there like that. So for number 2, the question is, how did your husband die? So I think I've covered that a little bit in some of the other videos, but, and I will do a very in-depth video coming up soon about the process of his death and his illness and all that kind of stuff. That's going to be a really hard one, and I've been putting it off, but I really need to do it probably next week. But he died of bile duct cancer. The cancer that actually killed him was liver cancer, so it spread to his liver, it spread to his lymph nodes, and by the time they found it, he was stage 4, and he lived 4 months. He was diagnosed on Valentine's Day of 2017, and he passed away on Father's Day of 2017, so it's just 4 months. So that's what killed him, bile duct cancer. I'd never even heard of it until he got it. What is on the wall behind me? all of that. A lot of people who are quilters or crafters or things like that. I took my phone and I did a little quick, you know, like studio tour back here behind the scenes, and I just kind of did a quick overview of all the fabric that's behind me. There's some fabric over here too. There's also some fabric over here. There's also a closet of some other crafting supplies in here. So I kind of just did it like a quick once around. It's like a 2-minute little tour, and I did it on my phone, so I'm going to insert that here. Okay, so you're gonna get a little behind the scenes here because everyone's been asking about my fabric stash. So you get to see like behind the scenes of the studio. Here's one shelf of fabric. I used to sew cloth diapers and kids clothes. So that's mostly what I do. So there's a lot of kid type fabric. I have no idea what the what that ladder's doing there. Really don't know, but there's more fabric. There's sewing books and magazines and stuff, and some patterns. More fabric over there. I know this isn't the greatest filming job, but just giving you like a little quick studio tour. It's not set up because I have it set up for filming. I have machines that are waiting to come out of their boxes. But I have not done that yet. I have my serger, I've got my cover stitch machine, I've got my sewing machine. Sorry, there's a plane overhead. I have more fabric. And these are all my notions set up in all those drawers. I have an industrial sewing machine right here. It's a brother. And then this is the wall of fabric that you guys see in my background every time I make a video. So this is all that's left over from, I used to have a fabric shop, a small fabric shop, and this is like my leftover inventory. Mostly I'm just gonna sell it. There's no way I can sew all of that stuff. In the closet here is like my little tutu making supplies. This is all tulle on the bolt. It's like that netting, you know, like what you would make a wedding veil out of. This is all my ribbon, some more tulle, some tulle on the spool. All right, and like I said, this, and my husband and I made this out of PVC. We also made this one out of PVC, and I made a video on how to make that, so I'll probably put that out on my Stitch and Whimsy YouTube channel, but hopefully this isn't making you seasick. But this is my, you know, my area. And then more notions here, snaps and crochet stuff, and just, you know, just stuff. Patterns over here. Oh, that's empty. That's more fabric that's folded, more fabric, that's cloth diaper fabric. So, and there's my little area where I film my lights, camera, action, and my tripod. So now there's a little behind the scenes on that. For those of you who wanted to know, there's my wall. Okay. Number 4, the question number 4. So many people have asked me if I have been to the doctor about the lump that is in my throat. And I asked my husband about it, and he was like, what lump are you talking about? And I told my sister about it, and she was like, what lump are you talking about? So I guess if you can see, like, I guess if I put my neck up like this, you can see right there. And then you can't see, but you can feel the thyroid is right here, and it's enlarged. So the lump is, I think it's called goiter. The lump is my thyroid. My thyroid is probably 3 times the size of a normal thyroid. I do have nodules on it. I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is a thyroid condition. It's an autoimmune disorder. It means that my thyroid doesn't work as well as a normal thyroid does. And I have had, I've had it checked out with ultrasound. I've had it, they are taking a look at it. If they do see that it's growing over a certain period of time,
see a doctor and get rid of it.
Then they will biopsy it just to make sure that it doesn't need to be looked at. But I do see a doctor for it. I have had an ultrasound about it. It is enlarged, and it cannot be cured, and there's nothing that you can really do about it, and I am on medication. So the medication is hopefully to keep it from getting any larger. But yes, I have been to the doctor, and yes, I know what it is. It is not cancer.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
not a tumor.
And yes, it is being treated, but I do appreciate everybody looking so closely. That's the lump. And so that addresses that question. So number 5, I've had a couple of people that said, I cannot believe that you remarried, or I can't believe that you remarried so quickly. So I don't judge other people for deciding not ever to get remarried, or to stay single for the rest of their lives, or to date, or to not date, or to marry, or to remarry. It's not my place to decide, what's best for you. And it's really my place to decide what's best for me. So for the few people who have said, wow, you really did get remarried quickly. I was 2 years out when I met JP. And once I did meet him, yes, we did get married quickly. We met in June and we married in November. We've been married for 15 months or whatever it is. I can't really count anymore. But anyway, November of 2019, we got married. And so, I guess to other people's standards, maybe it was quick. And his friends thought it was terrible because when we first met, he was only 7 weeks out from his wife dying. And so when I first met him, I thought, oh, this guy's not ready to date. He's in the throes of fresh grief, like he just needs a friend. So I just went into it thinking I was just going to be his friend because I knew what he had been going through, and I was going to support him because he seemed like he was, just needed a shoulder to cry on. And so that's how I went into it with him. But sparks flew when we first met, and I'll go over that love story in some other video. But yeah, so he was only not even 2 months out when he met me, and I'm the first person that he met or dated or anything like that. And when you know, you know. And so we just knew from the very beginning, and we hit it off really quick, and now we're married. And it's not a perfect marriage. No marriage is perfect, but we're working it out, and we help each other through the grieving process. So, and then the last question. And this is, I have a feeling the people who asked this question were probably not widows. I don't know this for sure. But some of them have asked, several people have asked, and they've been pretty nasty about it. So I want to go ahead and address that. But several people have said, well, since you are remarried, well, you're not a widow anymore. So why do you call yourself that? And why do you call your channel that? So I addressed this a little tiny bit in my first video about, I kind of went back and forth about, am I really a widow? Do I call myself a widow because I'm remarried? And I also read an article, I think it was in the Huffington Post, and it was written by a woman who was a widow who had remarried, and she talked about it. And so I'll try to find the link to that article, and I'll post it in the description below so you can read it. And so she was pretty she's pretty adamant about the fact that, yes, she's still a widow even though she's remarried. And so I'll give you my take on it. If I had named the channel, the Remarried Widow, or the One Happy Wife, or something like that, you would have no idea what the channel was about. But that's not the only reason why I still call myself a widow. I'm a widowed person. What made me a widow was my husband dying. So the fact that I remarried did not bring my late husband back to life. He's still dead. My children still have a dead dad. Yes, I am remarried, but my grieving did not stop when I remarried. And so I'm still dealing with the feelings of grief. I'm still in the grief process, and I always will be. I still have the experiences. I still have the memories. I'm still going through grief right now because my husband died. And so I am living the widowed experience even today. And I have these experiences, and I have these, these things that have happened to me that I want to tell you about so that you can hear them and say, wow, I went through that. Oh, so I'm not the only one who feels that way. If you have gotten help from any of these videos, then I doubt that you care whether I'm calling myself a widow even though I'm remarried or not. Are you getting help out of the video? Is it making you feel better? Do you feel like you're not alone in this grieving process? What difference does it make if I'm calling myself a widow and I'm remarried or not? And I'm not trying to be ugly to everybody, but there's some people who are widowed who will say, I am not a widow, I am a wife, and I will feel married for the rest of my life. I will always feel married. That's their right too. I know on paper legally they're not married, but if that's the way they feel and that they want to call themselves that, that's fine. I'm not trying to trick anybody. I'm not trying to mislead anybody. I'm not trying to lie to anybody. I'm not trying to give you advice or share experiences that I haven't actually had. If you are widowed or have been widowed and you have remarried, I mean, how do you think of yourself? If I had a child and that child died, would I still be a mom? Or would I not be a mom anymore because I don't have a kid anymore? Like if I was married and then I got divorced, I'm the ex-wife. If I remarried somebody else, I'm still the ex-wife. You know, I'm still a widowed person, and I still have widowed experiences, and I'm still going through the grief of being a widow, and I'm still wanting to share those with other people, and I think it's helping. If it bothers you that much that I call myself a widow and I'm remarried, then I, you know, never meant to offend anyone. But if it does bother you, then go ahead and say your piece in the comments. Most of you already have. And then go watch another video on someone else's channel. I've had people who say, I'm really confused. I thought you were a widow and you're remarried, so you're not really a widow. Oh, so you were widowed for 2 years, but now you're not. So it would really be nice if you could put that in your about section. Okay, well, I mean, I haven't made it a secret that I'm remarried. You know, it kind of baffles me that people are so bothered by, you know, a word or a designation. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you except for that if it bothers you that bad, don't watch any more videos. You know, if you got something to say about that, either way, like, what do you think about that? What do you think about somebody calling themselves a widow and then being remarried? And, you know, you might have a problem with it. That's okay. I can respect people's differences of opinions. I'm not going to change, but, you know, I'll listen. And so what do you think about that? Put your comments below and we'll take a read. And other than that, I think that's the last question. So to wrap it up, don't forget we've got shirt merchandise. We got lots of shirts. We're still adding more every week. So we got a link below that will give you a 10% discount off of the shirts. And so just click on that and it'll automatically put that discount out in there for you. Stay tuned for the May book club. We're going to be posting that soon. And if you have any other video ideas, comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to wrap this up before I run out of videotape, and we will see you next time. Bye.